All right, guys, what up, YouTube? If you haven't heard, which I'm sure that you have, the verdict heard around the world that Johnny Depp is found not guilty, and Amber Heard is found guilty of defamation of character. This is good for everybody. First, let me tackle it from the woman's point of what I think is it makes it good for women. Men in this country have not had a fair voice. And because of that major imbalance, I feel that men that feel that they have no hope in these type of situations commit the most heinous crimes. If a man is innocent and he can't prove his innocence and his livelihood gets taken from him, he loses respect in a community, he gets kicked out of his community, and even if that woman has been proven to be a liar, it's a lot of opportunities still lost. And once you sow that seed of doubt, in most cases, people never forget it, and it's in the back of their mind. Like, that, yeah, he was found not guilty, but was he really not guilty? You know what I'm saying? Once you sow that seed of doubt, it's there, right? So I think it's good for women in that fact of if men have a voice, if men could actually feel comfortable uh, taking the route that Johnny Depp took and actually thought that they had a chance at winning because they had evidence that proved otherwise. I think you will see this more often and you will see less crimes because men actually know that they stand a fighting chance. And that keeps women safe. That keeps, at least for some of the part, it keeps these bad things from happening, right? Uh, Last thing that you want is a man to feel like he has no hope. Well, if a man has no hope, and if a man has nothing to lose, he is very unpredictable. He is very unwound. Like that's bad for everybody. That's bad for society. That's bad for men. That's bad for women. If a man has no hope, that bad things are going to come from that. Um, so on that aspect, I I hope women see that some of the things that we see, even these crimes, some of them, I can't say all of them. As far as the when certain people are being bullied and they haven't been taught that you could defend yourself certain ways. The mind can be your greatest freedom or your greatest prison. And if somebody has it in their mind that they have no hope, then their actions will be of somebody that has no hope. And usually, like I said before, those crimes are really, really terrible. Um, but now get into for the men, it's a big win for the men. And this is why. Because who do men really get to talk to when things are going bad? If you look back on my timeline, I covered a story of a man that was getting stabbed by his wife, and he called the police, and the dispatcher was so nonchalant. And when the police got there, he getting stabbed in the back. His son is telling the police, "It's my mom that's doing it." They end up shooting the man and killing the man, right? Um, and those type of things happen more so than people think. Um, and I'm gonna tell you the story. Fresh out of well, actually not fresh out of high school. It was my uh, I was into my second year of college, and I was working at a men's homeless shelter, and I had started working there as a security guard. But when I saw that the men actually needed help finding jobs and getting placements because many of them had records and um, So I began on my own. After work, I would go to a couple businesses in the area. I would talk to some of the business owners. I would talk to some of the private landlords. I would, just talk to people, right? And then I would come back the next day and tell the men that I thought that were suitable for whatever jobs or for whatever type of opportunity, like, hey, listen, I talked to this guy. Boom, boom, boom. So when the men from the homeless shelter started moving on to a successful life, excuse me, they created a position for me. They made a case advocate. I couldn't be a case worker because I wasn't licensed, but I was a case advocate, and I would do the same things that a case worker would do. I had to follow the same rules, except for I had an actual case worker that I reported to. Right. Um, I will never forget. It was a guy named Mike. I'm not gonna call his last name because I haven't heard from him or seen him in some years. Uh, when he came into the shelter, this guy was kind of built like Mike Tyson, but maybe a tad bit slimmer. But he reminded me of somebody that was built like Mike Tyson, right? And I'm looking for jobs, and then I'm asking like, what is he certified in, and what degrees does he have? And this guy had a master's degree in engineering. So I'm like, dude, I'm like, why are you here? Like, like, man, like, you are educated, you're well spoken, and he was one of the nicest guys that I met. I'm like, why are you here, man? Like, you could get a job anywhere. He had a felony. Why did he have his felony? Because his ex-wife, or maybe he was still married, I'm not sure, uh, filed charges of him abusing her, and they believed her, right? So, because I helped so many people, I really didn't believe or not believe what he was saying. It was just like, okay, that's what happened. So I'm dealing with the problem that I have in front of my face. We need to get you somewhere that will actually let you use the degree that you have in that capacity, and we need to get you out of here because somebody like you, getting from what I got from him, doesn't need to be here, right? Well, a few days later, a woman comes in and she asks for Mike, and I can't confirm who stays at the men's shelter because of HIPAA laws. So I tell the lady, I don't know who you're talking about, but I don't even know you, so I can't tell you who's here or who's not here. Like, that's the law. So he could be here, he could not be here. I can't tell you. If you want to leave a message for him, or if you don't, that's up to you, right? And then she proceeds to go off. And I mean, she goes off. I know he's here because I can see his car out there, and yada yada yada. And she's talking trash. So then she became so irate that I had to remove her from the building, right? And after I removed her from the building and take her back outside, um, the whole men's shelter is all glass in the front, and she proceeds to pull halfway out the parking lot, and the man's children is in the back seat, and she proceeds to open up her trunk and throw all this man's belongings and boxes from whenever out on the grass of the homeless shelter, and proceeded to say, "Hey, kids, this is where your bum a daddy is staying at. Yes, he's a bum. He ain't good for nothing. This and this and this and this and that." And I'm like, yo, get out of here. I've already called the police. You need to leave. So she pulls off. I go out there and I pick up the boxes and I put the clothes back in because she kind of like threw the boxes and like the clothes kind of went everywhere. So I picked all the stuff up and I bring it back in, and the dude Mike had tears in his eyes, right? Actually, he had more than tears in his eyes. The guy started crying, man, and I kid you not, yo, the entire population of the men's homeless shelter felt it. The entire population of the men's homeless shelter felt it, and that's when I believed him. And even after that, he was like, "Man, I don't know what I've done to deserve this." He's like, "I've never done anything to her. She brings my kids up here, and she's doing all this type of stuff, and she's been lying on me for years, and nobody will believe me. Nobody will believe me." And somebody of his stature could really do some damage to somebody if he wanted to. Like he was a muscular guy, you know, and he was intelligent. And when I seen that happen, I felt horrible because like I felt embarrassed for him, and because and that was my first glimpse of, and maybe not my first glimpse, but that's the first glimpse of me realizing like how far someone will go just to embarrass a man if a relationship doesn't work out. And I'm a very good judge of character. Like, um, so we go back to work, and this man ends up getting a very good paying job, uh, and I believe either West Virginia or South Carolina, somewhere over there. And he leaves town. He didn't want to do it, but he had to put space between him and his ex-wife and even his kids at that point. And he said that when he got in a better position, that he would fight to, know, get custody of his kids or get whatever that he could get from them. But working in the homeless shelter gave me insight to a lot of situations that happen to men, um, where women are involved, and you would be surprised, um, what the world doesn't talk about. And there's a lot of men that really feel like they can't fight back because you can't fight socially because the laws favor women, and you can't fight physically because if you fight a woman physically, everybody hates you. It's almost like a lose lose. You can't fight back. You get boxed into a corner, and men give up. That's why the 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 self deletion rate in men is so high. Like some men fight back, and then some men, give up, and they take others with them on their way out. Uh, so I'm saying all that to say this: things like this need to happen more often. If anybody brings any type of allegation, whether it's a personal allegation or it's against a corporation or a business, from here on out, it'll be good if the person can actually prove what they're saying, or if it's enough people saying the same thing, start looking into that person. But mainly, most important, everybody needs to be innocent until proven guilty because you know people lose opportunities. People lose, so much behind just somebody saying this. People lose mistrust in their families, in their friends, in their children, just by the words of somebody, that their aim is to just be malicious, right? So I would like to say congratulations to Mr. Johnny Depp. Thank you for this. From one man to another man that you will never probably meet because you're living that rock star lifestyle. Um, but thank you for coming from me and coming from men around the world. This was really needed. This was really needed. And hopefully we begin to see men being more comfortable with being vulnerable and standing up for themselves and letting people know what's really going on. Um, because that's not what's that's not that is not what's happening. Right. So till next time, I just hope everybody just realize like we're all in this together. If we're all created equal and if we're all supposed to be equal and have equal representation under the law, then men also need to be able to prove their innocence. And when women are caught in lies, the prosecution or the DA or whoever is responsible for picking up cases needs to start doing that. People need to be aware that there are consequences for lying on people and trying to destroy people's lives. So, till next time, everybody take care, man. I love you guys.